You're listening to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Each week, I'm going to be interviewing top realtors from coast to coast to give you a backstage pass on how they've created their amazing real estate empires and how you can copy them. Everyone for watching the Craig Proctor Show. What we want to prove to you here today is age doesn't matter, experience doesn't matter. You just got to get with the right system, the right coach. You got to be coached up on this and be open-minded. You could be, heck, I've got clients, you've met them, Gayle and Tim. They've been selling real estate for 20, 30 years before they met me, and we've completely turned the trajectory of their business, and they're making huge quantum leaps. So what were some of the mind shifts? What kind of things did I introduce you as far as thinking processes that when we talk about I'd never go back to thinking that way? Give me a couple examples.
Oh, a perfect example is that, like I said, it's a business, not a hobby. So we can't do it all by ourselves. The first thing we did was hire an admin assistant who is amazing. We followed your team manual. We're simple creatures. We were military. You say, do this, this, and this. So we do this, this, and this, and we get the result you promise. So we hired an admin who we just get the heck out of her way now. She's amazing. And when it comes to the marketing, it's more what's in it for our client versus what we want to convey. It's not fluffy. It really brings people who are invested in purchasing and selling homes.
Okay, let me interrupt for 1 minute. Those are two very important points. First of all, even though you're husband and wife team and were for years, you've realized that a lot of the things that you were doing did not need to be done by you, should not be done by you, and you've made more money by actually not doing things. I mean, that's contrary to how we're brought up, right? It's like, well, if I want to make more money, I got to work harder, I got to work longer hours. So the first thing we get realtors to understand is the very top Craig Proctor members don't work a lot in their business, but they earn more than 99.9% of the realtors. So hiring people to take care of the things that you were doing so you can move up the ladder and work on higher impact activities. And then the other thing you mentioned was your marketing. We teach you how to attract clients. Most realtors believe that marketing is about promoting themselves. Marketing is about talking about, yourself and your company and how great you are and how many designations you have, or spouting off just nonsense like everybody else does. I work hard, I'm honest. I have, whatever designations. This is what everybody else says. That's why it doesn't work. It doesn't set you apart from anyone else. The marketing, who's in charge of lead generation in your team? Okay.
I'm the rainmaker.
You're the rainmaker. Okay. So how do you, as a husband and wife team, how do you divide up what needs to be done?
What we're both good at.
Mm-hmm.
You're better at managing.
I've kind of taken over the role as the manager, and I write the checks and I say yes, dear, a lot. So whatever she tells me we need to do for marketing, she runs it by me. I don't know why.
What are your personality types? What's your disc score?
I'm an I.
I'm a really high D.
The charts D.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would tell you, one of the biggest problems we had to overcome is we're both a little bit of a control freak mentality. Right. So giving up certain things required a significant amount of effort on both of our parts to let the pry that out of our hands and give it to somebody else to make it happen. So
yeah, most realtors have a difficult time. What they believe is they believe that nobody can service the buyer and seller like me. Nobody can do this certain activity like me.
Right.
And then they come to realize that we can actually hire people that will do as good a job or maybe even a better job. And when you get to that point where your business starts to work without you, it actually is a business. So I would say that's a false belief a lot of realtors have, is they think they have a business when all they really have is a glorified job. They have business cards, they have a for sale sign, so they kind of have a business. But if it's only you, you can't go on vacation, you can't really, expand or scale what you're doing. And so that's the life of the average realtor. They just look around at everyone else in their office. They're all miserable too. And they think, well, that's just the nature of the business. It's a bad job. You're working 7 days a week. Even if you worked at corporate America, think of this. If you're a salesperson at corporate America, if you were any good at it, you're probably making 150 grand a year. You got a company car. You're not paying for the leads or the appointments or the contacts. The company takes care of that. You probably have 4 weeks of vacation. In real estate, there's none of that, right? So we have to figure out how to move from being a solo agent to scaling this up and hire a few team members and then eventually move yourself out of it. Now, one thing I want to mention is you don't hire the people before you get the marketing up and going. There's no need to start hiring a whole bunch of people until you can create an overflow of business. So what exactly did you do, Gayle, to create that in the beginning? How did you really crank up the volume and expand the business so you had a need and it became easy to recruit?
I did a lot more postcards. We live in a blue collar area and low internet for some of them. The internet was really hard. So the area we were farming, we did a lot more postcards with much better offers. It was what's in it for the client versus fluff. And we got a greater return. And then my listing presentation, because of what you've taught us and the PowerPoint, just knocked it out of the park. And we were able to get more listings and then more postcards because of more listings. And then we also did some Facebook marketing, which is very inexpensive, and picked up some clients that way.
Yeah, I love direct mail, and that's really working well for you. And the fact that you mentioned it's the offer that you make on the postcard that's vitally important, because others might be watching this right now and they would say, well, postcards don't work. It's not that the postcard doesn't work. The job of the postcard is to get delivered, okay? It's the message or the offer that you make on the postcard that's going to make or break the campaign. So we give you aggressive messages that buyers and sellers are interested in, and they're going to contact you. It's really that simple. And they're going to start to contact you in such large numbers that, as Gayle and Tim discovered, you can't keep up with it all, which is a great situation to be in, but it does eventually create another problem, which is we can't do it all, and we're going to need to hire some other people. What point did you get to where you realized, what production level where you're like, okay, we got to get some more help?
We were closing like 5 transactions a month and then doing a lot of appointments, and things were starting to fall apart. Clients were not kept informed. I was too busy. Almost missed some important forms, which really scares me. Too busy. Tim was back there paddling as fast as he could to catch up with what I was doing.
I was doing most of the backup work, the filing and I was acting as the designated broker for the company at that time and trying to maintain the paperwork. And so it was like one of the things you just touched on. It's trying to get a day off was impossible.
Right.
We didn't even have time to go for a motorcycle ride up in the mountains, which is something.
That's the irony. That's the irony. Is you finally had the production coming in. You've got all this money coming in, and now you realize, well, we can't even enjoy our life, right?
Exactly.
And I call that the success trap. A lot of realtors, they build it up to that level. They don't know how to scale it without them, and so they're thinking, well, gee, I can't stop what I'm doing because I'm making $200,000 or $300,000 a year or more, so I can't stop it. So I'm kind of trapped. But they don't know how to get out from under the thing. And sadly, a lot of realtors, they just live that way year after year after year. And of course, they end up with marriage problems and, they don't see their kids and they don't have any hobbies. And real estate at that point just consumes them. It shuts out all the light in their life. So you're probably thinking at that time, this Craig Proctor guy, we had a simple life. Now we got all this business coming in. Now, how do we fix this? So as your business grows, would you agree it's a fair statement? You're always going to have problems, but you're going to have better problems. So we had solved the lead generation problem. Right. You now are to the point where you're overwhelmed with business. But as Gayle, as you mentioned, you feel like some of the balls are starting to drop. So
Yes.
once you made that decision, we need some help. Who did you hire first?
Our admin assistant, she's still with us. She's taken on more and more responsibility as she's learned the system. She's amazing. Her name's Lisa. She's probably watching. So hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
She is our right-hand person. She knows we need something usually before we even need it. Clients are contacted. She problem solves. Of course, she passes it in front of us, but she problem solves. She is our right hand, like I said.
And
Isn't it it's such a relief to get someone like that, because then you've got faith, like, oh, okay, well, all this stuff that's in my mind and all the details I had to take care of, I actually can get somebody that not only will do it, will actually be very attentive to all the details, to the point where so much of it she can do without having to ask you. Like, she knows what she's doing.
I'm going to throw in a little side comment to that. We had made a couple of hires prior to going in with your program, and they were disasters.
Yeah.
We were always getting the wrong people, trying to put a round peg into a square hole and things like that. And we had no idea what we were doing. And your system that you have to help identify people and hire who we're going to hire and for what positions and so on and so forth, that was a real game changer for me. Do the DISC test and how to read all that in and make that work. That is worth its weight in gold.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Tim. Did everybody hear that? Like, Tim and Gayle could have been soured on the whole team concept because, you had a couple bad experiences. So just like there is a proper way to generate leads, a proper method, there's also a proper method or system to recruit and hire and train your people. Because just like Lisa, you're saying, you know what, Lisa was like a godsend, like, so much responsibility she was able to take on. It's incredible what one good hire, like what a difference that can make. I always say to agents, you know what, you might be like one or two good hires away from really being able to have, your business off of you and be able to scale this thing. So the whole team concept, it only works when you do it correctly. Like, if you're just going to run out and hire, randomly someone off the street, and you don't understand who you're looking for, you don't have an interviewing system, you're not using personality testing, you're not onboarding them, it's probably not going to work. And that can be discouraging because, as we know, hiring somebody and training and coaching them up it's a lot of time. So you go through that, and if it doesn't work out, I can see where realtors might say, well, you know what? Hey, Gayle and Tim, I hear you. But I've been there and I've done that with the whole team thing. I hired a bunch of people. It didn't work out. And that's when realtors say, the heck with it. It's just easier to do it on my own.
Yep.
We're all going to struggle with that, I think, at some point. Like building a real business, it's not easy. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So all of us, Tim, Gayle, myself, we've all had our like bad days. And I've got this plaque on my desk and it says, what's your option? So every time I had a bad day, like maybe I hired the wrong person or whatever, what's my option? Am I really just going to go back to being a control freak and doing it all by myself and working 7 days a week and being limited with the growth? That's not an option for me. So those of you watching this, you got to get coached up on lead generation. That's step number one. Okay. Just to be clear, we're not saying run out and hire a bunch of people. You don't need a whole bunch of people unless you're to the point where Gayle and Tim were, where they got so much coming in, like the balls are starting to drop and they're not taking vacations. That's when you say, okay, I need to learn how to replace myself in certain areas. And that's the game, is to slowly replace yourself. So when you hired Lisa, it's like, okay, let's make a list of all the things that Lisa could do that you guys no longer have to do.
Yeah.
And then you realized she's pretty good at it.
Yep.
She might be better at some of this stuff than we were at it.
Oh, yes, she is.
Yeah. So that's very liberating. Okay, now who was the next hire?
Lorraine
Browning.
Browning.
She
And is she a min or licensed?
She's an admin.
Okay.
She's not licensed.
She's not licensed. We hired her as an ISA to make the phone calls.
Very careful guidelines.
Very careful guidelines, what she can and can't say on the thing. And I got to tell you, this was I don't even know how to phrase this. This was a mistaken hire.
Serendipitous.
A serendipitous hire. That's a better word. We didn't realize just how much of a pot of gold we had hit until we sat down with her one day and said, we're doing this. And she says, oh, well, here, let me do this for you. And the next thing I know, we found out that this lady has got a degree in education. She's got tons of experience in training. She's got tons of experience in managing training operations. She worked for Swift Trucking for several years as their safety training guru. And we were getting ready to do a matter of fact, the presentation that we're going to do in Anaheim, and the one that we just did last week on the Saturday or Friday morning thing, all that PowerPoint that we had, that was all Lorraine. And I was like, holy cow, how did we get so lucky? We just stumbled we hired somebody to basically make phone calls, and she turned out to be probably, and I can't even begin to tell you how awesome it is to have.
That's nice when that happens. So you hired her for a specific role, but she was so much more
than that.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Cool. In fact, she's hiring her replacement, who's starting the end of this month.
That's nice. Okay. All right. So when do you get into hiring outside sales agents? At what point does that happen?
We're in the process of doing that now. We had some bad hires. We made mistakes. So we have one coming on board today. The disc is perfect. The attitude is perfect. So she's joining us, and now we're ready to hire even more.
Okay. Now here's how this, I want everyone to understand how this deal works when you work with Tim and Gayle. So if you're an outside sales agent, let's say that I'm in Phoenix, you're in West Valley part of Phoenix. If I'm a realtor there, pay attention to this, because you could be a realtor, slug it out, try to figure out what Gayle and Tim has figured out. But you could also just partner up with them because they've got so much business coming in now. They're looking for outside sales agents to come and partner with them. Now, here's how this deal would work. If you're an outside sales agent for Gayle and Tim, you don't do anything except for go on appointments with buyers and sellers. Does everyone hear that? So there's no, like if you're an agent on their team, there's no like, I got to pay for the leads, or I got a cold call or door knock. No. The leads come into the inside sales agents. The inside sales agents qualify the buyers and sellers, and they set up pre-qualified buyer and listing appointments. It gets better than that. Not only do you just show up to the appointment, Gayle and Tim coach you up on the presentation and the whole Craig Proctor system on how to actually get that listing. When you go out, if you're competing with 3 or 4 other realtors, doesn't much matter to us because you're going to win using this presentation without having to cut your commission or highball them on the price or make all the concessions that most realtors do. We want to show you how to truly have a powerful presentation to win that listing, but you get it at the right price, the right commission rate, and for the right length of time. So if you're in the Phoenix area and you're interested in this kind of opportunity, what's the best way for someone to reach you to at least have a conversation about this opportunity?
Call me directly. My number is 602-819-6300. And I always answer my phone, and I always call back and text and email back.
Great. And we'll drop all of Gayle and Tim's information in the comments below. Now, if you're outside of the Phoenix area and you'd like to have a conversation with me about how to do this in your own marketplace, you can book a call with my team and I by going to proctorcall.com. So my name, proctorcall.com. We'll drop that link in the comments below, and you can book what we call a breakthrough call. What is a breakthrough call? Well, first of all, it's not a big sales pitch in any way. We basically just have a conversation about where you are in your business, just like when we started with Gayle and Tim. Like, where are you? Where do you want to go? And how are you doing it right now? Okay. And then we propose different ways of doing it. And at first, it's true, right? Gayle and Tim, when you first hear the different ways of doing it, you may have like old paradigms. You might, it's not things you've heard of before usually, right? But you're not coming to me to hear what you've already heard from everyone else, right? You're not coming to me to keep doing what you're already doing. The reason agents come to me is to do what they don't know how to do. So a lot of the advice that you hear from me and the way of thinking about things may set you back a bit. It's like it's different, right? The way I think about this, what we're going to tell you to do, we're going to poke some holes in the false beliefs that you have, and you can decide, hey, does this approach make sense? Now, I can tell you one thing: I've created more millionaire agents than any other coach or trainer or guru out there. A lot of these gurus, of course, are pretty new on the scene. Anybody that has a Facebook account apparently is a coach. The qualifications to be a real estate coach today is you just say, hey, I'm a real estate coach. But I've been doing this for over 30 years. We've helped over 30,000 agents like Gayle and Tim. And you should call them if you're skeptical about this or whatever. You can contact them. I'll tell you what, just Google them. You'll find them. And you can confirm what they've had to say here. The best thing about coming to our conferences, which, as you've heard, we have one coming up in Anaheim, California in like a week. The best thing about this really is meeting the other people. Because when you come to our conferences, and Tim's nodding his head up and down, it's the people you meet. It's not just Craig Proctor. It's not just Todd Walters. It's not just our coaches. It's meeting like ordinary people that are getting extraordinary results. So here's typically what happens. You come to your first conference, you see all these agents making millions of dollars a year. And, your first instinct is, well, maybe that's something they can do. I can't do it. And we talk about, oh, maybe their market's different or they're smarter than I am or whatever. But what happens is you become friendly with these other Craig Proctor members. It's true, right? Gayle and Tim, you start to go out to lunch with them and out to dinner. And what you realize is all these people that are doing the thing that you want to do are really no different than you and I. And you become friendly and they share with you exactly what they're doing. And all of the thoughts that we have, any of the negative thoughts or insecurities or whatever, believe me, all of these superstar agents had those same thoughts, those same negative ideas or whatever earlier in the process. But I think it really helps because you become, a lot of the learning and the bonding happens, I'd have to say, even at the end of the day at the bar, where you're just meeting a lot of people, right? I think what happens, Gayle and Tim, you're like, well, I met this person and that person, and they're no different than I am, and they're all doing this and they're doing it at a higher level. But it's that kind of support, being able to pick up the phone, which I know you guys can do at any time. You can email, text, pick up the phone. You can talk to your peers inside the Craig Proctor system, and anything you need help with, you're going to find somebody that's had that problem before and already solved the problem.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will provide some information in the comments. Actually, we're going to show you right now. We put together a little report, a little handout. Faith, if you can pop that up, maybe we'll just go through this. This is something, I don't know, Gayle, whether you created this or Tim or someone in your office, but
Together.
We kind of sat down together and knocked this out in about 5 minutes.
all right, well, let's take 5 minutes on it then. Let's.
Okay.
Why did you create this for our show here today? What is it that you're trying to communicate?
Well, we were thinking about where, this is kind of based on our personal experiences, about where we felt like we needed to make changes in what we had into what we now have. And
After we join the system.
And after we joined and then we wanted to also kind of look into the future and see where we wanted to go. And one of our biggest issues early on when we first got started trying to put teams together, we were constantly fighting. We had a team that consisted of a bunch of really strong individuals, but there was no real teamwork going on. So one of the things that we realized we needed to do was create a we versus an I mentality.
So
the
you're saying
office.
you had some strong people, but they're all more or less working independently rather
Yeah,
than with each other.
and a lot of them weren't interested in doing the team systems. It was all what's in it for me, you know?
Okay.
So we were constantly rotating through other agents and people that just couldn't quite grasp the idea of working as a team in the
They
business.
didn't understand our values.
Yeah, they didn't understand the values that we had and one thing and another. And so we wanted to create that we mentality instead of an I mentality. And then we wanted to develop a team where the team members felt like they could trust each other. If you've got an issue, you want to go to somebody in your team to help, because just like with everybody at the conferences, most of the agents and the support staff that we have kind of share separate backgrounds with common problems, and they can help each other work through them. We made a early on decision that we wanted to develop quality rather than quantity, especially with our agents and our training and the people we have working for us. I would rather have a small office of really good team working agents over a large office where everybody's out there beating each other up, trying to beat each other out of business or whatever.
So when you're hiring now, how do you weed out people that wouldn't be a good fit? Like, let's say maybe they've got the right personality score, they look good on the surface, but how do you know? Or is it a situation where you really don't know until you kind of hire them and you put them through a probational period, and if it doesn't look good, you have to part ways?
We start initially with at the very initial interview, and we have people sit down in front of us either in person or on a Zoom, and just kind of get a feel for their attitude, which is a big thing for me, and then kind of try to figure out if they're coachable or not. We've made some hires of some very well qualified people in the past who were absolutely not coachable, and you couldn't convince them that they needed training or things like that.
So that's obviously one of the questions you're heavy on now is, are you coachable? Are you open to learning different and better ways?
In your system, there's a lot of information in there. I can't even begin to go through it. There's a lot of stuff in there with the DISC test and all the interview questions and stuff like that you can sit down and I still have to have the book in front of me when I go to do that, because I can't remember 90% of it off the top of my head. But,
hey, let me ask you a question. When you're interviewing someone, let's say on the first interview, which of the two of you thinks you have a better read on the person? You think, okay, this person's going to be a good fit, or you think this person's not going to be a good fit. Is there one of the two of you that are kind of better at reading the person? Or
I would say it's Gayle. I like everybody kind of person, and Gayle's kind of the skeptic in the crowd.
Right.
So
my wife is very good at reading people. I guess, Tim, maybe I'm like you. I'll meet somebody. I think, oh, that's a pretty good person. My wife, but I know there's something about that. And then a month later, it'll be like, oh, she was right. I just wondered if one of you were better at, and we're never always right, okay? Because if my wife says, oh, there's been examples where she's been wrong as well. So that's why the testing and going through the process is very important, because even though you might feel I'm pretty good at reading people, I'm pretty good on that first interview, you got to go through that process, because no matter how good you are, there'll be people that slip through the cracks. And because you spend an enormous amount of time, like you guys do, you spend an enormous amount of time coaching and training. You want to make sure you get it right from the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to waste their time either.
Exactly. And then the next two or three things that we talk about, the skills levels, we come from a military background, and both of us were in the service. And just a quick background on how that kind of reflects on what we do now. when you first enlist, you go to a basic training situation where you learn the basic skills. Like if you're going into the Army, you learn basic riflemen, you learn how to put gas masks on. There's just all kinds
How to
of
march.
how to march and things like that. And those are considered basic skills. And then you have the more advanced skills for particular jobs. And we kind of broke that down, looked at it and said, okay, there are certain things that everybody in a real estate office needs to know how to do. So, and I think a perfect example of that is we require everybody in the office to be able to spout that
Universal
universal
script.
callback script.
That's amazing.
That's one of the scripts that we learned from you that works really, really well. And I want everybody, the phone receptionist needs to know how to do that in the whole 9 yards. So anyway, the whole idea is to create an environment where people, when they walk out, if they've had a bad day at the office and they walk out, I don't want them thinking, we hate this job. We want them to come out thinking we'll nail it tomorrow.
I like that.
We'll fix it tomorrow. And they're not going to be walking away going, I hate this job. I can't take it anymore. And I think the way you get there, just like we put on the paperwork, there is you have to work constantly on keeping communications open between people in the office.
Mm-hmm.
People have to trust each other. They have to know that they can go to somebody else in the office with a problem or a concern and know that they're not going to get laughed at or talked down to. And they need to have some dedication to the job. They need to know what the overall goal is and why it's there as much as what it is, so that they can feel like they're accomplishing something important. So
I see your team training is every Monday morning between 9:30 and 11.
Right.
All right. And everyone is kind of mandated to be there. What types of things do you talk about during the team meetings?
Well, we have a kind of an agenda. It starts out with a little bit lighthearted. We do what was everybody's good news for the last week.
We all get to laugh together.
We all get to laugh together about what went down that was funny or good, or the grandkids got an award at school, or Lisa's kids did really, really good, got student of the month, something like that. And then we go into okay, here's what everybody's got. This is what we've got going on as far as properties that we've listed and sales that we've got going on. We have everybody kind of talk back and forth with the admin, and the agents all need to kind of be talking to each other to make sure that they've got open communications. That's what that's all about, is to help make sure everybody knows that if you've got an issue, you can go to the admin or to the bosses or whatever to not feel like you're having to answer it by yourself. And then we do some basic training. We just pull stuff out of the onboarding manual primarily, but also some other skills that, like the universal callback script, things like that.
That's the same thing I did every week. I would teach them a different aspect of the Craig Proctor system. So it might be, the universal callback script. It might be the buyer presentation, the listing presentation, some of our guarantees. All right, Faith, you can bring it back to us again, please. Now we're going to make this download available in the comments, everybody. Okay, so you can download it. And again, we're gonna have Gayle and Tim's contact information. So if you're in the Phoenix area and you want to team up with somebody that's already got the Craig Proctor system figured out, all you have to do is contact Gayle and Tim. Now, everything you want to do in real estate, they're already doing. Okay, you don't have to spend years figuring it out. Just join up with them, have a conversation anyway about partnering up, because the idea would be you would make more money and work less. You're not messing around with administrative activities. You're not running around getting keys cut or taking pictures of houses or making feature sheets. All the details are taken care of, and you don't have to worry about where the business is coming from. If you work with Gayle and Tim, you're not cold calling, door knocking, doing any of that stuff. They're using smart modern marketing. Okay. The leads come into the office to the inside sales agents. Inside sales team calls, qualifies them, and sets up buyer appointments and listing appointments. And then you're coached up on what to do and what to say. So you're getting that listing signed or that buyer agreement signed. And then you do what you love, which is just working with buyers and sellers. Any final thoughts you guys want to give us before we wrap this interview up?
Yeah. Do the manuals. Craig just said it, and I'll reiterate, everything that you can think of is in that system. You just gotta sit down, read it, and follow it, and it works
Step by step.
Yep. So
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah.
Well, Gayle, I want to thank you for taking the initiative to show up for that first half-day seminar that James conducted. And the half-day seminar, you liked it. That message resonated with you. You came to a conference, you came to another conference, and you stuck with it. And Tim, I want to thank you for loving and having faith in Gayle and just being an awesome partner, because we all need that in our business. We need to have people that support our vision and our dream, especially in real estate. And it's kind of nice to have a family business where you can have a common goal together as a couple and divide up the work, and everybody's doing what they like, what they're good at. And one more question: what do you see this thing going in the future over the next couple of years? What are you trying to build here?
Oh, let me do it.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, we're grown-ups, we're senior citizens, but we're not done yet. It's too much fun. So what we are doing is we're going to expand into the Prescott-Chino Valley area. And then we're going to build another brokerage in Alabama, and then possibly one near Fort Benning, Georgia. And then we'll figure it out.
I guess the question is why do that? Why not just retire and, enjoy your life? Like, you're passionate about this. You don't need to work. You don't need to do this, but this is something that you really feel driven to do. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I can speak to that. I have retired 3 times. I park my rear end in front of the TV, and within 2 or 3 weeks, I'm sitting there thinking, if I do this much longer, I'm going to shoot myself. So I got to get up and find something to do. And if I'm going to do something, I might as well be making money.
And helping others. We
So,
give every time we sell a house to veterans charities, the DAV and Camp Corral.
Yeah.
That's important to both of us.
Yep.
And we hire disabled veterans and help them reestablish their lives. And it's just awesome.
I think this has been inspiring to a lot of people that are watching this. It doesn't matter, as I said earlier, it doesn't matter how many years you've been in real estate. Your age does not matter. None of your location doesn't matter. All these things that we think are barriers, right? None of this matters. Gayle and Tim, you have met Craig Proctor members from different countries, in small towns, big cities, young, older, male, female. Like we have such a mix of people. It's the attitude, okay, of the people that we work with that we attract. I think we attract these people. That half-day seminar that you attended, Gayle, not everyone that attended that very first half day, not everybody decided to come to the conference. You mentioned there was a coworker of yours that they didn't take the next step.
No.
Yeah. And where are they today? Right. So not everybody. So the funnel that we have, the way we attract people, we're attracting a certain type of people. And when you get to Anaheim, California, you'll see about 1,000 of these hand-selected members that we attract into the Craig Proctor system. And if you'd like to be one, if you'd like to attend our upcoming conference, I'll have a link in the comments for that. It's not too late. Of course, we have 2 different options. You can come in person, which is way better, or we have a virtual option. If you don't want to fly or whatever, you can watch the conference virtually. All you have to do is go to craigproctorseminar.com and join up. Even if it's virtual, you can watch us for 3 days, hear from the top members all over North America. So again, it's craigproctorseminar.com. All right. Well, I want to thank you very much for doing this. We'll see you in a week or so in Anaheim, California. So it was nice to get to know you better and spend some time with you. And I want to thank everybody watching the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show for tuning in today. Thank you very much. And we'll see everybody next time. That concludes our show. Thank you. Hi, this is Craig Proctor. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed that video. And listen, I've got a lot more information for you to help you grow your real estate business. You see, several times a week, I record new videos and I load them onto this YouTube channel. What I'd like you to do, if you'd like to access them, are two important things, and both are totally free. Number one is I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. You're going to see a little subscribe button for you to click on. And if you don't already have an account with YouTube, it's free for you to set it up. It's really easy, it's free, but you've got to subscribe to this channel. And the most important thing is to ring the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And that's gonna let you know every time I load new money-making videos to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you subscribe right now, you ring the little bell, and we'll see you on the next video.